Meet the real-life men and women of the Vietnam War's 85th Evacuation Hospital, who became characters in One Degree, an historical medical mystery. I'm Gus Kapler. I served as a trauma surgeon at the 85th Evacuation Hospital in Vietnam. I dealt with my PTSD by repeating stories of my Vietnam experiences. In 2015, I compiled them into a well-received memoir, Welcome Home from Vietnam Finally. I published One Degree, an historical medical history, in 2020. This groundbreaking medical thriller, One Degree, is an historical medical mystery of a fatal infectious illness that was first seen in the 1971 Vietnam wartime recovering wounded. A dedicated group of Vietnam veterans and others touched by the deadly disease relentlessly pursue a 15-year quest to define and eradicate the now globally occurring fatal, gruesome disease. Matt Rogowitz was disabled with post-traumatic stress disorder induced by guilt. As a lab tech at the Walter Reed Army Hospital, he described infection-fighting white blood cells that were distorted. Matt was convinced this finding was the cause of Richard's infectious disease. His superiors did not agree, and he backed down. Richard died in agony, and Matt assumed the guilt of Richard's death for not pursuing the conviction. Matt consulted Major Mike Grossman, the attending hematologist at Walter Reed. "Sir, what do you make of these white cells?" The major dismissed their significance. At the 85th Evac in Vietnam, Mike served as an internal medicine physician. He directed the heroin treatment program based at the halfway house. Any one of these kids could have been Private Burroughs, struggling through the Vietnam jungle on patrol. Every step could be their last if they triggered a booby trap. They existed in a moral limbo, trapped between the codes of war and peace, never entirely in one or the other. This situation leads to moral injury and, eventually, PTSD. Meet Gary Stoller, my dear friend, who did spend 6 months in Walter Reed Army Hospital due to an enemy booby trap injury to both legs in Vietnam on April 9, 1968. I utilized what he remembers about his wounding in describing Private Burroughs' explosive trauma. Gary was a box sergeant with the 1st Cav in I Corps near Way and a double Purple Heart recipient. In One Degree, medic Don Gates directed Private Burroughs' medical aid and recovery by medevac after his booby trap injury. Don Gates was a 22-year-old corpsman who served on the resuscitation team in the 85th Evac Emergency Department. I shared an experience with these men and women of the 85th Evacuation Hospital that no one should endure. A year's witnessing war's devastation on young men's bodies, minds, and souls was life-altering and reshaped the remainder of our lives. We all were traumatized by the mutilation, screams of pain, and the wounded's tears of desperation in our ED. Almost daily, we are cursed to relive those moments.